Hey, what's going on, friends? My name is John Waldman. I'm a filmmaker based in New York, and today we're talking about the A7R III in 2023. Is it worth buying? Alright, so this video is going to be geared towards photographers only. I cannot recommend this camera for video in 2023. There are much better options for the similar or maybe even cheaper price point. That being said, this is my main photo camera, so let's dive right in. I started my journey with filmmaking and photography with Canon and slowly shifted all the way over to Sony. And once I sold my Canon 6D, I was only left with my A7S II and my FX6. I sold the A7S II and was able to find a really good deal on the A7R III on Facebook Marketplace. I figured it was a pretty good swap considering the video specs were pretty similar, but now I have an amazing photography camera because I still needed a photo camera in my kit. Let's just talk about and appreciate why I still think this is a good buy for photographers in 2023. This is a 42.4 megapixel camera. I still think it is too much, but I gotta say, now I've had it for about a year or two. It is really fun to shoot with a high megapixel camera, and I know there's cameras that have higher megapixels, but being able to recrop is actually something I didn't think I would care about, but it is actually really clutch and has saved my ass a few times. Next up this is by far my favorite. I never had a camera that could do this. Continuous 10 frames a second shooting. That is so much freaking fun. Again, beforehand, I had never had a camera that could shoot at this burst. This is clutch, you know, if you gotta capture a special moment, let's say a wedding, an event, something that doesn't happen more than once, just knowing you have that 10 frames a second, it really saves your ass. It is also a blessing and a curse. I find that with this, sometimes I find myself overshooting, which gives myself a lot more work in post, but that is neither here nor there. Also, the IBIS is really solid. I feel like I'm able to open up the shutter speed pretty slow and still get some really nice results. And I really like this feature when I'm in a low light scenario and I'm not capturing a fast moving object. If you could like the video, that would be great. If you could subscribe, I would really appreciate that. We're on a roll here. I'm really having fun doing this YouTube thing. Also, I think this camera is pretty good in low light. You know, before I got it, I kind of figured out higher megapixels, more noise. I've reasonably put this up to ISO 6400 and felt like I've had clean results. I have started to dabble a bit with some denoiser products, but again, up to 6400, if that's not enough, your ISO, you're probably doing something wrong. Get some lights. Also, these Z batteries last forever. I remember with the A7S II, do y'all remember those like little batteries? I had to have like 8 of them. Anyways, these last forever, and this is great because I have an FX3 also, and it uses the same battery, so I just have a couple of these, and now I'm good to go for days on end. Media for this camera is really cheap now. Hard drives have gotten cheaper, computers have gotten cheaper. While years ago, maybe it would have been a little bit intimidating, you know, 42, 43 megapixel camera, the files are like 85 megabytes a pop, but now, like with the way media is, including storage on your camera, storage on your computer, it's really not that big of a deal. One thing I really love, I'm extremely impressed with the camera's dynamic range. I've recovered images that were either really blown out or really overexposed. It has a lot of flexibility in post, and it's just been really a fun camera to shoot with. And again, I just want to preface this, while I know there's better cameras out there, but those are more expensive. I know this is old. I'm just appreciating this camera that I still think is excellent, and I have no plans on getting rid of this in my kit. The only time I could ever see myself wanting to update this is probably to another body that fits my video needs, maybe another small form factor camera if I wanted to have a shoot with 2 of my smaller bodies like the FX3 and whatever this mystery camera is. But then I would still keep the A7R III as my backup. I feel like this is still an amazing A camera for photography, or maybe you want to look at it as a B camera for photography. I believe if you are doing video production or photography as a profession, you need 2 cameras. They need to be just about the same in quality, because what happens, you show up to a shoot, your camera breaks, you don't have another one, you're gonna whip out your iPhone, you're never gonna get hired again. So my plan is to keep this. You know, things always change, but that's my plan for now. I love this camera. All right, now it's May 1st, 2023. I looked on Facebook Marketplace. You know, I saw some in the $1,200 to $1,500 range. I'm not, you know, I don't keep track of all the tech and everything, but I mean, like, that's a sick deal. This camera, when it came out, was like $3,500 probably. And I think for what you get, again, just for photography, thinking about this as a beast photo camera, I think that's a great buy. So just kind of talking through a couple of accessories that I have. When I bought the camera from someone, he had this Peak Design strap. These like two little strap thing you put on the strap hooks and you could attach little things. Anyways, I have this little wrist strap. I really like it. Yeah, I have this dual grip from Mikey. Usually I'm pretty big on getting proprietary stuff, but this has been a great third party and inexpensive option for my A7R III. Let's talk about some things I don't like. I don't like the viewfinder, the LCD in the viewfinder. It's pretty low quality. I think in some of the newer Sony cameras, the LCD is a little bit better. It's higher resolution. I'm not crazy about it. It's an older camera, and we know that Sony's newer cameras have the nice flip out screen. This, you're just limited to this. It kind of sucks, you know, if you're doing a vertical photo, there's so many times I just want to flip it out. Maybe that is where whatever other camera I might look at one day, that's definitely a feature I want. In fact, I'd say if the A1 had that feature, oh man, I would really like to get my hands on that. But again, I've kind of talked about this, but depending on where you're at in your setup, 85 megabytes a file, it's large. And while yes, file storage is a lot cheaper in terms of SD cards and hard drives for your computer, but it's a lot bigger than, you know, your typical 24 megapixel camera. So that's something to keep in mind. When I'm doing client work, I export 2 copies, one being the high res, where if they want that high resolution, and then another as like a lower, smaller, compressed resolution for web stuff. So keep that in mind. Also, this is another thing, again, might be a personal problem. I'm always getting this sensor dirty. I don't know what it is. Look, right now, every single time I use it, there's dust getting on this. I don't have that issue as much with any of my other cameras. I don't know what that is. Maybe I should slap a Condor blue cap on here. Maybe that would fix the thing, but my sensor's always getting dusty. It's kind of annoying that I have to clean it up every time. Just sharing with you guys. That's about it for today. I hope it was helpful in some way. I really like this camera. I think it's a great buy in 2023 for photographers if you're doing photo only. Remember that. I'm just talking about from a photographer's perspective. Cheers, y'all. Bye.